Back in Syracuse as the Crunch gets set for the Charlotte Checkers. Final game of the week for the Crunch. Only the 7th game of the season for Syracuse. On Countdown to Crunch Time presented by Supercuts, I'm Lukas Favale with Crunch head coach Ben Groulx. Ben, it's the second game of the week for the Crunch. Last night in Toronto, 4-1 loss for Syracuse. What did you see last night?
Well, tough one. I don't think we generated much. It's too bad because you know what, the way we practice doesn't translate in games, and I think it's due to a lack of confidence from our players. We have a lot of first year and second year player on that team, and it seems that they go out there, they practice hard, they work hard during the week, they do a lot of good things during the week, and the games start, you get excited, and all of a sudden you're like, nothing's happening. So it's frustrating, it's disappointing, but you know what, it's we're also playing good teams. Like Charlotte's one of the best teams in the league, Toronto is going to be one of the best teams. Rochester is one of the best teams so far, so it's challenging, but you know, it's a lot of adversity, but I believe that if we can relax a little bit more, if we can believe in ourselves a little bit more, I believe we're a much better team than we showed last night.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, having that confidence, and I'm sure it's hard to put a finger on exactly why that would be. So what do you think is with that here early in the year?
You know, I think it's always the same thing. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to put the team in trouble. So, and when you play to do not make mistake, we know what happened, right? We do make mistakes. So I think it's about for them to be a little bit more loose, relax, go out there, trust themselves, play the way they can, and within the structure, and I think they'll be fine.
Is there a way to get that message across, or is that something that just comes over time throughout the course of the year?
We'll get that point tonight before the game. I think they deserve that. I think they want to do well. It's not a lack of intention. I think they want to do well, but they put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform. And like I said, it's a very young team, but at the same time, it's a league that you're playing hockey, and when it's game time, it's time to perform. And tonight, it's time for us to park that game and be positive and play the way we can tonight.
Grant, you're taking on the Charlotte Checkers, and you mentioned, you know, the practice habits, and that's something you always stress is the habits and practice will translate over to the game. So I'm sure that's something you expect to see at some point as they continue to have those good habits in practice, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm disappointed for them. Like, I know how much time they invested the last 2 weeks in practices, and you go out there and you have a bad performance like we had last night. It's disappointing for them. I know they don't feel good about themselves right now, but it's over. Like you got to be able to turn the page and focus on what's in front of you, and what's in front of you at Charlotte tonight. It's
a really good team. The Charlotte Checkers 7-1 on the year, and we'll get to them in a moment. But the Crunch losing one of their defensemen. It's Cameron Gauntz going up to Tampa Bay here today. So one of the veteran guys on this the blue line. What do you miss with him not in the lineup tonight?
Well, experience obviously, and poise, composure, and he's a big piece for us. We all know that, but it's good for him to go upstairs and see how we can perform at the NHL level.
Crunch are down to now just 6 defensemen. They've got a lot of forwards on this roster, but the D not necessarily all of those you know, the depth that we've seen from the forward position. So what do you hope to see from the group overall tonight?
Well, play the way they can, and it's an opportunity for Oleg tonight to come back in the lineup and log some minutes and play the way he can.
Yeah, he's a 6'9" defenseman, obviously getting his first taste of pro hockey. What have you seen? He's only played a couple of games here early in the year, but what are the areas that you want to see his game continue to improve in?
He's technically, tactically, and collectively. I think that's what we're working on with him every day. I think he's made some stride. He's progressing. I like the fact that he's working hard at it. He understands more and more what he has to do to get better, and it's as long as players are doing that, I'm fine with it.
Crunch are taking on the Charlotte Checkers tonight. We're here on Countdown to Crunch Time, presented by Supercuts with Crunch head coach Ben Groulx. And again, it's the Checkers tonight. They're 7-1 of the season, coming off of an overtime win last night in Binghamton. we know they're a high offensive team, and they bring the pace and everything, and they're obviously off to a good start. So what do we expect to see tonight?
Well, exactly that. We know what they're all about. We faced them last week. So we know they're a deep team that can move the puck and make plays and score goals. So they have a great power play, great specialty team. So it's something tonight we're going to have to stay away from the box, and if we have a power play, make sure that we get momentum with it.
Last night the Crunch went 0 for 2 on the power play, and the power play's been pretty good. The penalty kill had a strong night last night for 5 for 5. What have you seen in terms of the strides that unit has made over the last week?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when our power play is good, the PK sucks, and last night was the opposite. Like PK was great, and the power play didn't generate anything. So it's a matter of putting everything together more than anything else.
The Crunch are taking on the Charlotte Checkers, and you mentioned obviously played them a couple weeks ago. Yeah. It's the first time that the Crunch have faced an opponent twice this year. So what do you take out of that first game? After the game, you said it was men versus boys in that first game, and obviously the Crunch have lost some guys since then. But what do you hope to take out of that game and bring it to tonight?
Well, we got to play with them. Like we got to challenge them, and in this league, you got to go out there and play to win. And it goes back to what I said before. Like if you go out there, you respect your opponent too much. If you don't want to make mistakes, it's not working. You got to play the right way, and we control that. We control the way we go out there and play and see that game. So it's for us to go out there, play with energy, play with speed the way we can.
All right, looking forward to it tonight as the Crunch take on the Charlotte Checkers. This is Crunch head coach Ben Groulx. Ben, thanks for your time and good luck tonight.
Thanks, Lucas.